Hey guys, Yvo here. This video is about the Black Edition. The Black Edition is a black watch with a PVD coating. So I will tell you about this coating, how it works. I will tell you about the finish of the watch, how I designed it, why I designed it, and why I love this timepiece. Have fun. I would like to start with one watch in particular, which is the chronograph, the Praeludium Chronograph. This is a watch I introduced in 2018, in April actually, and it was the first chronograph of our collection. For me, as a watch enthusiast myself, it was a long-wished moment because chronograph is something magic in the watch world. With this watch, I created something which is a bit more sporty, although still very classic, a bit retro-ish. Especially this one. This is the green one, the British Racing green. I love this combination. The contrast with the rose gold hands and the green dial, then with the shell cordon strap. Anyway, this is the classical Praeludium. Guys, I have a confession to make. Yes, because all watches I design, I only design them with one purpose. Because I like them. And also with the Black Edition. My idea was to make a watch which is a little bit cool, like this stealth feeling. You know, that you would go on a nightly mission like James Bond. Come on, every young guy loves James Bond, right? And everybody wants to have the feeling of Man in Black and Mission Impossible and all those kind of things. And obviously totally black. As my soul. It's funny when you tell this joke, they don't understand it. Once I told it to a jeweler, he looked at me like, what? Only when I start laughing, he was getting the fact that it was a joke. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the watch itself. This is the Black Edition. And this one is my own one. This is the really first one. The current collection is limited to 100 pieces, but this isn't inside the limitation. To be honest, I don't care much about having number 1 or having number 2 or whatever. What I do care about is some quotes or some things that are meaning to me. For example, with this watch, on the back of the watch is a quote, and it is, everybody thought it was impossible until there came someone that did not know that. To be honest, a lot of times during the startup of my company, I felt like that. A lot of people told me, Yvo, what you are doing is not possible. Why in the freaking name someone would like to wear a watch with your name on it? I always thought on these kind of moments, I will speak you again in 5 years. Now we're 5 years on the road, and I did spoke with them again. Here's the Black Edition. So, to get to a more sporty look and not losing the identity of the current Praeludium collection, the initial design of the chronograph is this one. As you can see, you know, it's a classical balanced dial. My intention was, when I designed it, to have a hint, to have a tone to these old vintage style chronographs from the 1950s, from the 1960s. Obviously, being a Black Edition, I made a black dial. In this two-tone finish. Actually, the color is the same, it's only the texture and the technique that changes. For the inside of the dial, we actually use spray painting, you know? They also use, for example, for cars. But for the outside, we use a very special technique. We use a lithography technique. To be honest, I don't know anyone that uses this technique in the watch industry. If you know someone that does use it, please tell me, because I never saw a company that uses the same technique. I will not go too deep into that because it takes a long time to totally explain how we make it. Anyway, just believe me, there are two techniques. Besides that, I also added these very almost Porsche vintage numerals. They give me really the feeling that they could be on the back of an old Porsche. And to top it off, we use also Luminova. For the people that don't know Luminova, this is a special kind of substance which lights up in the dark. So at day it charges and in the night it lights up. Like, you know, when you were little, your mom and dad hung the ceiling full of these stars that light up. Now, that kind of technique, but then a bit more sophisticated. The numerals light up, but also, what I like, the brand name lights up. So, bringing a little bit of light into life. That's a bit catchy. The first samples were totally blacked out. So everything was black. Blacked out hands on a black background. It was hard to distinguish actually the hands. So I wanted to make a hand with a bit more of contrast. What I actually did, I always try to lose some weight, but now I added some weight. And what I did actually is to change the hand, and here I show you the minute hand. This one is the original hand, so as you can see it's a classical leaf hand, very subtle, but for the Black Edition I wanted to add this contrast. What I did, I made them wider, a bit fatter, and in the middle added a space to fill up with superluminova. This results in the fact that you can actually see the time on the watch, which is quite nice for a timepiece. The original design of the case is this one. This is a stainless steel watch case. And this is the base, the fundament of what I use for the Black Edition. So I wanted to create this more rough feeling. So what I did, to totally sandblast the case. Actually what you do, you put the case into like a tank. And in this tank you have a gun which shoots sand. Pa, 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 pa. A very fine sand, and you can choose the thickness or length. You can choose the, how do you call the fineness, detailedness? I don't know. Anyway, you can choose the sand. And you can imagine, the bigger the sand, the bigger the holes you shoot in the case. And these tiny dents, they give actually the watch a totally matte surface. Then we go from the stainless case, we put a coating. And a DLC coating stands for diamond-like carbon. It's all in the name. It's as hard as a diamond. Black diamond, Black Edition. Poser. So diamond-like carbon is as hard and even harder than diamond. Because of the fact it's so hard, it's used for guns, car parts, knives. Maybe it's better that we do it in Dutch. And what they use to actually get this surface finish on the case, they use a technique and it's called PVD. And PVD is stands for something I forgot. Scheiße. Physical vapor deposition. Yes. And this is a technique where they actually put the watch in a tank and they vacuumize the tank. They put a gas in the tank, and through electrolysis it becomes like a magnet for certain atoms that are in the gas. Because of this, a tiny layer around the case emerges. Something not to mix up is PVD coating and a DLC coating. A lot of lower end watches, they use the PVD coating. And the PE coating is totally different than a DLC coating, because DLC is using the carbon in the gas they put in the tank. And the PE coating, I don't know what they use, but I bet they use something else. A DLC coating is much harder. Besides that, it has also a very smooth surface. And this results in a low friction. And therefore it can be used in, for example, industries where they have metal on metal, but they can't use oil. And also the difference is that a PE coating can be any color. You can do it in yellow, blue, whatever. I even have some rainbow cases. They're freaking cool. DLC is always black. The difference between a PE black and a DLC black is that the DLC black is a little less black. So it's not that deep black as a PE black. A lot of people ask me, DLC is so hard, so you can't scratch the watch. Sorry guys, every watch is scratchable. When you fall down with your wrist on the tarmac, dude, you're going to scratch your watch. The coating is really hard, but underneath there is a steel case. Small scratches, so as desk diving scratches, they don't have any chance. That actually reminds me of Jeremy Clarkson. When he is doing a Dutch guy, he always like speaks like this, like the Dutch speaks English like this. Fuck you, we're not speaking like that. Or maybe we do. I don't know. The final thing I changed actually on the case is the crown. We added an extra tube in the crown. For the people that are asking themselves, Yvo, what is a crown? What is a tube? I will explain to you. This is very catchy. The crown actually is the little knob which you can use to set the time, to wind the movement, and sometimes you also can use it to set the date. It works like this. There's a small tube This is the crown, this is the tube. The crown is hollow from the inside and goes actually over the tube. And on the inside actually a small rubber gasket which seals the crown completely. To be water resistant is really important that you always put the crown to the watch. So make sure the watch... So make sure, now I'm going to act. Hello! Take 655. So make sure to always put your crown to the watch. So, is it proper English? So guys, this is the Black Edition. I super like it. Hopefully you liked the video. I did my best to tell you something about how I made the watch. You want to know more? Check out the link in the description to our website. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them. I would love to answer them. Put them in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next time, guys.